Fellas, AC here. Welcome to another video. Now, one of my subscribers, Stephen, was asking me whether I could do this. And yeah, why not? So he said, he's quite a nice guy, very polite. He said, well, if all the reviewers agree. The thing is, this community is not run by reviewers. It's run by you, the subscriber. Whatever you want, you request, and within my means, I'll try and do that. And more often than not, I'll be able to do it. So here is a request video, basically. And the idea is very simple. There are 4 seasons. And I want to pick 4 fragrances which best remind me of that season. Now I have a vast collection. And every year, if I was to do this every year, it'll change. Because I'm one of those guys who doesn't get fixated by certain fragrances. I have a very open mind and I want to try many fragrances. In fact, I sample close to 500, 600 fragrances every year. Yeah, and I just want to make a point that I want to make this list for everybody. I am not a niche snob, although my fragrance collection is 65% to 70% niche now. But I'm not a niche snob. I also don't believe that a fragrance has to be expensive to smell wonderful. I don't believe that. Any fragrance, if it's made by dedication by the perfumer, if it's made beautifully, it'll smell fantastic. I have many examples. I have reviewed some of them. So what I've done is I've picked one niche and one designer. Yeah, and if the designer is expensive, I also have an inexpensive option. So I've got about 10-11 fragrances in this video. So let's crack on. Let's start from the start, i.e. spring. Spring is my favorite time of the year. I'm a gardener. I can't wait for winter, harsh winter of England to get over. And when spring approaches, this time, it's not yet spring here. And that's one of the reasons I'm delaying my spring list. When spring starts to approach, it's a big relief because suddenly you see the weather brighten up a little bit, the days are longer, and things start to spring out, and that's why it's called spring. It's my favorite time. So I want a fragrance which basically resonates with those emotions. I want to feel more energy, slight bit of warmth because weather is turning warm, fresh, refreshing. Also joy, happiness. Winter can be very difficult here in Northern Europe. So I'll start with one fragrance which is an eternal love for me, but it's not in this list. So let's start with the fragrance that most reminds me of spring. I love this fragrance. It's my scent of the day. It is by Hermes. It's basically only Jean-Claude Ellena fragrance I like. You know how much I love Jean-Claude Ellena, don't you? So it is my scent of the day. Bellamy Vetiver. As the name suggests, there's vetiver in this fragrance, but Bellamy is a classic fragrance, yeah? It's one of the most renowned leather fragrances. And it has a very beautiful leather. The leather is not gentle or tender. The leather is animalic, but the animalic notes are slightly muted in this fragrance. And they've been muted by using some very pleasant notes. One of the pleasant notes is a fantastic cardamom. And the other one is elemi resin. Elemi resin has this lemony resinous quality. There's also a fantastic execution of styrax. Styrax can be animalic as well. But what I like about this fragrance is it's got both the worlds. You know, it's a winter fragrance. This was released in spring, I think 2014. It's a winter fragrance with springiness. The vetiver is very green. Elemi is lemony. Yeah, there's brightness of cardamom. It's very airy cardamom. But there's this animalic leather. There's castoreum, I believe. Styrax. Excuse me. There's also patchouli, which makes the fragrance very earthy. So this is a very manly, bright yet dark, very sophisticated and elegant fragrance. This is my first pick for spring. I identify this fragrance very closely with the weather. Now, if I did this list last year, I would have picked this fragrance. This has got a Dunhill icon, my favorite. Everybody knows this. This is a cheapie, right? And I associate this with both spring and summer. Why? Because it's got a beautiful execution of neroli and cardamom. Yeah, it's also got lavender, I believe, many other notes. I've done a full review. In fact, I've reviewed this one as well. You can check it out. So let me make some space. But yeah, I'm not picking this one because I want to give you more options. Everybody knows in the community that I love Daniel Icon. So I've just left it there. So now the niche option. Now this is a tried and tested fragrance. I have used it in many scenarios, mostly formal, daytime, business wear. It is Acqua di Parma Colonia Intensa. This is a magical fragrance, and I mean it. Most of my business meetings that I'm not very sure of who I'll be meeting, I don't know the person, I wear this over a business suit. This is basically a cardamom, ginger, citrus fruits and bergamot fragrance. Like the name suggests, it's a cologne type fragrance, but very high quality ingredients have been used. I love it so much that it puts a smile on my face the moment I smell it. And I've tested it and worn it in every weather, but this one has this spring-like quality. The warmth of cardamom, it's not airy like it's in Bellamy. It's a warm cardamom. The ginger, refreshing and warm, yet bright. The citruses are beautiful and bright. There's also a woody note of, I believe, cedar, which makes the fragrance slightly stronger. Very elegant. Business wear, I would highly recommend it. If you're not wearing business wear, it'll still go very beautifully as long as you carry yourself in a dignified fashion. Yeah, this is fantastic. Daytime, Bellamy, daytime, nighttime, not a problem. It smells a little bit different nighttime. Nighttime, it has this slight sweetness, which is more like a sweetness you would get in a dry fruit. So those are the two picks for spring. You can choose whatever, and there's a cheaper option as well, which is Daniel Icon. So summer. Summer in Britain is beautiful. Everything is just bright and beautiful. Days are long, and I absolutely, and including everybody in the country, this is a country of 70 odd million. You'd be hard pressed to find anybody who doesn't like summer and spring, because the winter is very harsh. So I want to wear something which is jovial, light-hearted, yet it lasts a long time. Another thing with summer fragrances, that's my personal preference, I do not like summer fragrances which have even the slightest hint of sweetness, right? So my first pick is, again, a new love, and it is Prada L'Homme L'Eau. Now, this is a charismatic iris-based fragrance. It's got notes of leather, I believe. It's also got ginger, amber, powdery notes, slightly powdery, but extremely elegant and massive compliment magnet. Absolutely stunning fragrance. I'll do a full review. In my opinion, this is the best fragrance that was released in 2018. You should check out that review. I'll do it soon. I want the weather to be a little bit warmer. If I was doing this review a few years back, my staple for summer would have been, I would have recommended this. I still love it. It's a fantastic lemony, creamy fragrance. There's some amazing notes in this. It's got this pencil shaving type cedar in it. But most interestingly, it's a fine fragrance. It has got a tamarind, lemon leaves. So there's no sweetness here. It's perfect for a white shirt or even a t-shirt, daytime wear. Fantastic cheapie. So that's the cheapie option. Expensive one is my all-time love. If I was to make a fragrance of my all-time love, this would be in that list. It's Mancera's Cedrat Bois. What a beautiful fragrance. You can see from the dent in the bottle how much I love it. This is a 120 ml bottle. I think this is one of my absolute favorites. It has got notes like pineapple. It tries to do the Aventis thing, but it has this very beautiful, spongy, soft, lovey-dovey type sandalwood in its dry down. It's a woody, fruity, jovial scent. Love it. Love it. Absolutely adore this fragrance. So everybody knows about Cedrat Bois. I wouldn't go into details. I've done a full review. Do check it out. So this was my niche option for summer. Now, if you're looking for something which will take you through summer and spring, and you wanted my recommendation, I would give you another recommendation. Slightly expensive, but a major compliment magnet and a major mood enhancer. I love this. It's Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver. Again, a vetiver-based fragrance, but it has, that vetiver is just outstanding. I don't know why it's called Grey Vetiver. It should be called Bright Vetiver. It's a beautiful vetiver, absolutely stunning. And it's got, obviously it's got lemon and it's got bergamot and many other notes which I can't remember, but I've done a full review. But this is, if you're a minimalist, if you have just one fragrance for warm weather, one for cold, I would highly recommend this. Major compliment magnet. Recently, I was in a business meeting, and the business meeting, there was this scribe. She was taking down her notes, and she was a university pass out, very, very attractive, extremely, extremely attractive. And she was not known to me. She's an intern. Once the meeting finished, she was just chatting to me about, about the company, about the culture of the company. And in the middle of the conversation, she said, "Would you mind if I just said that you have the most elegant aftershave that you're wearing?" I was floored because I did not expect, she must be what, 23, 22? I did not expect her to give me such a wholehearted compliment. This is a major compliment magnet. Yeah, Grey Vetiver is absolutely beautifully elegant. Do try it if you haven't. If you already have tried it, you know. And can't state it enough. The Grey Vetiver is fantastic. Next on my next season is obviously autumn. Autumn is another one of my favorite seasons because it's neither too cold, neither too hot, and after a busy summer, it's time to just get ready for winter, really. So harvest time. Being a gardener, it's my favorite time because now I get to harvest whatever I've sown. And I like to wear semi-gourmand fragrances in autumn. I say semi-gourmand because the weather is still warm, September, October. And somehow I feel as if October is the month of celebration. Being of Indian heritage, Diwali is a festival, Durga Puja is a festival. Both are celebrated in October, November time. So it's also a month or a period that I associated with celebrations, festivities. So I have a fragrance for you, which is a cheapie, and it is extremely festive. I have done a full review, and it's called Boucheron Jaipur EDP. Now, what a fine fragrance this is. This is one of those fragrances that once you have in your collection, you would know that you have one fragrance that you can fall back on and don't have to think of, which is mild weather fragrance. So it's mostly a cinnamon, tonka, spicy, lemony fragrance. So it starts off very lemony, and then the dry down is just outstandingly magical. So cardamom is also among the notes. So it's mostly an oriental, but a beautifully executed oriental, one of the finest. So now the niche option. Again, weather is not too cold, not too warm, and I just want something which is extremely expensive smelling, attractive, celebratory in nature, stylish. I've reviewed this fragrance. It's one of the most opulent fragrances, yet very bright. It's called Kashmir by Arabian Oud. Not a lot of talk about this one. Very many people don't talk about it. But I tell you, once you smell this, you'll be smitten. It's such a high quality fragrance. Richness is just unparalleled. And yet, being an oud fragrance, people might worry about it being skanky, no skank. Too heavy, not at all. Very airy, light, but yet beautiful and long lasting. It's got a fantastic note of yuzu. Yuzu is the center here. But it's got other notes like Kashmir oud, Cambodian oud. So slight fine nuances of fruity, tobacco. It's just outstanding. Do check out the whole review, and some of you have gone ahead and bought this, and you know what I'm talking about. Fantastic autumn niche fragrance. So that would be my autumn done. Now the last season, which we have just been through, and again, if I had done this list last year, it would have been different. A New Love is a designer pick for winter. I'm smitten by this fragrance. I think it's magical. It's Dolce & Gabbana Mysterious Night. Mysterious Night is a fragrance which grabbed my attention the moment I sprayed the first sample. A friend of mine from India, Rohit, sent me a small sample, and this moment I sprayed it, I was gobsmacked at the beauty and the opulence and the richness and just the glamour of the fragrance. I don't even like rose. This is a rose-centric fragrance, rose, oud, saffron. That combination has been done to death. Try this. I was amazed. And the same thing happened with Rohit. When I told him, he got himself a sample, he smelled it, and his remarks were exactly like mine. This is magical. This is like heaven. It is heavenly. It is not cheap and very difficult to find, but if you can get your hands on this, I tell you guys, for winter, and if you like rose, there's not a better scent in the designer category, I'm telling you. My absolute love at the moment. I have gone for it. Crazy. This is a 150 ml bottle. Look at the dent. Some I've decanted. I've done about 2 or 3 decants. But it's just magical scent. Okay, last on the list, which I'm yet to review, but I think in my opinion it's one of my absolute top favorite fragrances. And my favorite category in perfumery is Chypre. Why? Because Chypre can open the door to many types of fragrances. This is a leather Chypre. I adore this fragrance. I'm smitten by this fragrance. And it is a Guerlain. A Guerlain is a house which I adore. I love Guerlain. And it is Guerlain Derby. So winter time, right? In Britain, it's very windy, it's extremely cold, and it's grey. Most of the time it rains. So you want something which picks you up a bit. Yeah, it's quite miserable. And this has this ability. This doesn't, this works in every weather, but doesn't work in the night time for some reason. But this has this ability, on me at least, to just pick me up. Because it's such a fine creation. It's got this heavy animalic leather. Much more animalic than Bellamy. Yeah, it's an animalic fragrance. Quite challenging. It's not for the faint of heart. It's got a birch note. I love birch, and that's the bit I loved in the original Aventus. There's also, I think, orange, which brings in that mysterious but yet very stylish aspect. What a fine fragrance this is, guys. For winter, I want something like this. Something which is interesting, green as well. There's a patchouli, which is quite green. So, all in all, a fabulous winter niche, which I think should get more attention. People don't talk about this much, but I think it's a fine, very fine fragrance. I wait for winter months to wear this. There are many more, but just wanted to do a video which, give you an idea of which fragrance I think of when a particular season is about to arrive or is already in full flight. So I hope this helps you, and I would love to know from you which fragrances remind you of a particular season. You might not have 4, at least 1, but do let me know. It's great to interact with you fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.